How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of the Son of Frankenstein.
This one is probably just as bad as his father. Good morning, son.
Well, hello.
My son, you have inherited the fortune of the Frankensteins. I trust you will not inherit their fate.
I have imagined you're a worse fool than father. What are you going to do about it? There's a monster up and you know it.
We've warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I'm Bill Evenson.
And I'm Thom Lang, and you join us for minute 67 of 1939's Son of Frankenstein, starring Perry Evans and... Perry Ivans and Josephine Hutchinson.
I'm sorry. Periodically I hear something on our podcast as it's happening, and I think, what if this was the first time you had ever listened? You're like, what are you talking about?
What the hell are you talking about?
Stumbled on this podcast by mistake. This would be interesting. Perry Ivans and Josephine Hutchinson. I didn't even know they made any movies together. I'm a big fan of both of them.
They were quite a team. It was like William Powell and Myrna Loy.
It's like, I got nothing. Like Dagwood and Blondie.
Hepburn and Tracy.
Burns and Allen.
There we go.
There you go. So
we open on Igor finishing tootling on his horn.
And right next to his head.
Okay, I just made the same note.
Really?
Yes.
Is what looks to me like if you've ever seen a worm that's dead in your basement,
curls up.
How they curl up.
Yes.
So that was what you were going to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a curlicue. It's the handle for the window.
Is that what it is? I knew it was part of the window, but that makes sense.
It's the handle to open the window.
Okay. Which is all fucked up. There's about
there's so much wrong with that window.
10% glass.
The frame is all busted up.
Frame is pretty busted up. The center line is there, and everything else is all
the horizontal ones are broken.
It's the same window as before. We're talking about it like, now was this curled up worm there before when he was there with?
I don't recall seeing
Frankenstein telling Frankenstein, "You go that way."
This is the first time I noticed it, so
okay.
I don't know.
That's the first time I noticed it, so that's interesting.
Actually, the first time I noticed it when we watched it just now.
Okay, yeah. No, that was my thing that I was gonna say last week, but it didn't seem to be a.
Okay.
Seemed much better, like a stronger opening.
It is. It's a good opening. Yeah, it's a good opening. There's a lap dissolve to yet another scene around that fucking dinner table.
Wait. I just want to say one thing.
Oh, yeah, one more thing about...
Lugosi mimes playing the horn really well.
Yeah,
I'm
he
not
does.
joking. I think he does an amazing job at that. I mean, unless he's actually playing it.
I doubt it.
It
doesn't seem to be.
No, but
that seems like it's
Here's how good it is. I'm willing to entertain the possibility that he's playing it. I don't think he is. But if someone said he was, I'd be like, he looks right.
Yeah, okay. And then he does this cheesy grin.
That's right. We both laughed.
We both laughed at it as the lap dissolve starts. And then he kind of centers himself on that
cross.
vertical. Yeah. But yeah,
so you can see his eye out the corner, and his grin, his evil grin.
And what it looks like actually is Rick Baker did a makeup on himself as Igor. It looks great.
Okay.
He looks a lot like him. And there's a whole series of photos, and one of them he's grinning like that.
I don't know what you're talking about. Rick Baker did this? Why?
Yeah.
Just cause?
Just because he
one day?
He does all this stuff. I mean,
he certainly does.
He doesn't have to. He's retired, so what else is he going to do?
Oh, it's recent.
Yeah, this goes back maybe 10, 12 years, but
he's been retired that long?
He's been retired, for a while now. Because he said, CGI has taken a lot of the work, and it's a different industry. He's just not interested in it anymore, and he's getting old. He's getting arthritis.
That right there, that's it. There's nothing anyone can say to me that'll convince me that we haven't taken a turn for the worse.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there are any number of indications that our society is falling apart completely.
Yes.
And I'm starting to be swayed that this is what's happening. So we're just clutching for anything we can hold on to.
Anything positive, yeah.
But in particular, that's the more important thing to say. There's also it's a movie podcast. So where movies are concerned, I saw the latest Thor movie, and in the first 20 minutes, there's a big special effects extravaganza scene where Thor is grabbing spaceships. People are flying spaceships at him. They're similar to, say, land speeders or something like that. So they're coming at him. And he grabs one and smashes it into the other, and he picks up another one and he crashes it into the, I don't know, a tree or some shit. And it looks fucking terrible.
Really?
You would not believe, because Marvel's movies make $1 billion. They cost $100 million. They cost 150, 200 million.
Yeah.
But the special effects now is just completely deteriorated.
Yeah.
And there's these Marvel TV shows. I don't know if you've seen any of them. A lot of them are great, actually. But I watched this She-Hulk.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of criticism about
it's the same thing. It's just like the special effects. No one gives a shit anymore.
Yeah. It's become just a plug and play kind of
And I've seen
thing.
a couple articles on the internet, where they've talked about this, that they're just churning this stuff out.
Yep.
The artistry is
There's
falling
no artistry
apart.
to it, yeah.
Yeah. And if you tell me Rick Baker stopped working in the movies because that CGI wave pushed him out, well then we're done.
Yeah.
The species doesn't have any reason to exist.
Right.
Not just because of Rick Baker in
No,
particular,
but it's
Rick Baker.
It's emblematic of
Yeah.
The guy won 8 Oscars for
I
his
should
work?
win all the Oscars.
Yeah, I mean,
That's not enough.
there's I've got that book. It's big, big heavy volumes of his
just pictures
of his career.
Okay.
And his stuff. I mean, normally I'd hate him because he's so
'cause-
fucking good.
Yeah,
but
right.
he's such a cool.
He's
such a cool guy. There's no way you can hate him.
For somebody who podcasts about this topic, I don't watch the extra features on the Universal discs much, but he's got a big presence on those. He loves to talk about that.
Oh yeah, Jack Pierce is why he got into the business.
Yeah.
I think that's true of a lot of people.
So that's an interesting person to bring up. Jack Pierce even saw the industry cutting corners.
Oh yeah, I mean he
And
lost his job because of it.
But yes, that's true.
But and he was forced to
he
adopt
was cutting,
and cut corners. The next film we'll see evidence of that.
Yeah, there's no collodion in Ghost of Frankenstein. I don't know what collodion is. What is it?
It's sort of
like cotton.
liquid, kind of. It hardens as like a plastic or a hard rubber sort of feeling, and you kind of brush it on cotton to build up. That's how the first monster makeup was done in Frankenstein. The forehead, the brow. I think most of his forehead is open. So like the ridge on the top and then the ridge over his brow, those are all built up with this cotton and collodion method. It's layer by layer. And it's very time consuming.
People who are like us and like the kind of shit we like sorry to say, Doctor Who, will know that it's a common thing when you've got an alien on Star Trek or Doctor Who or whatever, that you want their face to be able to move and look like a real face, even though they're an alien. And that's the situation here there with that collodion. Yeah. A lot of it is his face.
Well, I think that's why it's such a successful makeup and why it's never been surpassed, is because it is.
We got Ghost of Frankenstein coming up.
It is, 75% Boris Karloff's face.
Yeah.
Perfect face for this makeup. Rick Baker even talks about it. It was designed for that face.
Right, exactly.
It works on that face. It doesn't work on Chaney's. It sure the fuck doesn't work on Lugosi's face at all. Glenn Strange had the right kind of face for
Remember
it.
when we did minute 56 and we just had random 56s and Jackie watched random minute 56s throughout.
Yeah.
And Lugosi's in minute 56.
Yeah.
Of that
Probably
movie.
the lowest
and she
point
said,
in his performance.
She goes, "Who is that?" And I said, "That's Bela Lugosi." She goes, "That's Bela Lugosi? That doesn't work, does it?" And I said, "No,
Yeah, nope.
not really."
Not at all.
The first time she saw it.
Yep.
Yeah. It gets better, of course, just because it almost seems like they finally hired somebody that they thought it would work on. And then it seems to work better. Glenn Strange, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The story goes, and we're jumping way ahead here, but the story goes that Jack Pierce was making him up as a pirate, I think, or a cowboy or something for some other film, and he kept looking at his face. And Strange is like, what the hell? What's with this guy?
Yeah.
And then
they were lovers, though. So it's weird.
So that's kind of
a weird story.
Yeah. Then he asked him if could he stay late to just try something. Yeah. And apparently he put like newspapers up over the mirror, and he did him up. And then he did the big reveal, and he's like, "Oh wow, okay, cool." But by that point, it was a rubber headpiece, so it wasn't a lot of.
So he asked him to stay for 5 minutes to put the headpiece. It wasn't 4 hours.
It was still time consuming, but not nearly like it was. I mean, he faced constant pressure. Can you do these things faster and cheaper?
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yep.
That's why by the time of Frankenstein's house and Dracula's house. There's very few Wolfman There's very few.
I mean,
Wolfmen.
why? Why do we have to complicate everything? But yes, those are those movies. Yes.
Yeah. And there's a winner in our essay contest for what's on Michael Mark's cart.
Oh, for Christ's sake. No, famously, Jack Pierce, that day, he made up Glenn Strange just to see what it would look like. That photo ended up on the obituary for Boris Karloff.
No, it's actually a...
Come on.
Okay, fine. Sure.
Let my joke at least sit. You don't have to laugh, but let it sit out there for
Sure,
a
okay, I'll insert a pause.
Thank you.
Yeah. Photo was from Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That ended up as Karloff's obituary. I think New York Times or something like that. I've seen the...
So you're going to get every title wrong. You're going to call it Frankenstein's House, Dracula's House, and you called it Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
I'm going to get
every
every title wrong. All right.
Okay, and then we do a lap dissolve.
Yeah, see? You're learning.
You said it.
I just said it 10 minutes ago.
Remembering that you said it. And then we do a lap dissolve.
So there's another winner.
It's my news groups alert. My alt.universal. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to turn it off, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, as I said, there's yet another scene around this table.
Here's the thing about this table, and if you've said this before, I'm sorry. And if you've said it multiple times, and I'm exposing myself as on the verge of becoming elderly, I apologize even more.
Well, I mean, I'm the one that said it multiple times. So.
I haven't said it yet. What I'm about to say.
All right.
Oh, I see. That will work perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 fireplaces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that always true when we see this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. Okay. I didn't notice.
Okay.
You probably said it before.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of fireplaces for the one dinner table. Where's Peter?
Don't know.
Okay.
Well, we'll find out.
We'll sort of.
We'll sort of find out.
We'll find out something.
Yeah.
All right.
Krogh pushes in Elsa's stool. Oh.
So what's great about that's a good one.
Yeah.
What's weird is that I actually thought about saying that.
I regret saying it now, but
but I'm glad you said it because
right.
One thing I didn't notice until this viewing.
Oh.
Hutchinson scoots herself up because he's only doing it with one arm.
Oh, sure.
And it's actually, you could argue, in character. It's really great.
Oh,
actually,
okay, yeah.
If you actually watch it, I didn't notice it until this
Okay.
time. And it also, the other thing I like about it is it fits into this thing I actually mentioned, I think, maybe 3 months ago, that this notion that maybe Krogh is trying to put the moves on Elsa.
Elsa. He's been hanging around all fucking day, so,
that's the other thing. What day is it? So Wolf is just standing there like a jackass while this is going on.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. But, so is the assumption that it's the same day then? Everybody's still wearing the same
They're
thing.
all correct.
Do you remember a guy called Dino Stamatopoulos?
Hooked on necropolis.
He was making a cut of all of these films, the Frankenstein and the Wolfman films.
Yeah, it was all
Series.
cut together as a...
he was making a tight cut of the whole thing, like a 6-hour, and then he made like a 3-hour, whatever.
Yeah.
And I asked if he was going to somehow find a way to make that the same character in Ghost and the Wolfman.
Yeah.
But he said no, and then I said, well, can they at least meet? Can they have like a conversation? So I think that would be cool.
That would be funny.
If you could figure out, because it's supposed to take place at the same time, roughly.
It's years later.
Well, what is? He's in
I
the
guess,
Wolfman and Ghost.
I guess they are concurrent.
They're made almost at the same time.
Well,
the only problem, I guess, is I don't know when. Well, you don't know when anything takes place, I guess.
Because Ghost was made almost immediately after Wolfman.
Okay.
I mean, I think it was like he finished one and started the other.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. We still have to figure out what we're going to do with the Wolfman.
Yeah. I still say we just do it as an episode in between Ghost and Frankenstein meets the Wolfman.
It's funny. The one person who has weighed in to say that not only should we absolutely do the Wolfman minute by minute, but we should do it next is Wallace, who just wants a podcast to listen to. He just wants to work. He has something to have on while he's working out.
Yeah. Well, that's the only reason I still do this.
He's booted off Twitter. He said it's permanent.
Oh, it's permanent?
Did I send you the... yeah, he said it's permanent. Yeah, I asked if it was temporary. He said it's permanent. I don't... Oh, he just said it's permanent. They say it's permanent. Fuck them. I'm better off or something like that.
I watched a lot. I had a lot of time on my hands the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
So I watched a lot of stuff. Thank God for the 24-hour.
But not Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, because you don't have time for that shit.
For that kind of crap. Well, see, I didn't want to invest in something I hadn't seen because I was in and out and feverish, and
I get that.
I just wanted comfort food in a video form.
And 24-hour Mystery Science Theater channel.
That helped a lot.
On Pluto, you mean?
Well, I think
they have a Doctor Who one. Just throwing it out.
Oh, okay. I think Shout oversees it. Shout Factory.
I think so.
Because they own all that stuff.
Right.
But I did watch The Wolfman, and I watched Ghost of Frankenstein. Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. So it was kind of, I at least had that.
Yeah.
And a few others I forget. A couple Hammers. And
for some reason, you're reminding me. You remember I had a fever once and watched a movie, and it really affected my experience. And it's one of the movies we're going to do. It's called Dracula's House.
Okay.
And that works great if you have a fever. I should have thought of that when you were going through that and said, watch House of Dracula and set it up if you can to just play on repeat. So all day you're going in and out, and you wake up and he's going, ah! And then you wake up and Larry's looking up out the window, and it's just all fucking crazy shit. Like that's the key scene in that movie. Larry looking out the window.
Out the window.
It's fucking scary.
What the hell's going on out there?
It's a scary movie.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh well. Whatever.
I can go back to reading my comic book. Reading Little Orphan Annie.
Oh no. Do you read comic books?
Nothing current, but I did.
Yeah.
What I've done lately, I found this publisher.
Right.
Gwandanaland, I believe is how you say that.
Okay.
That publishes out of print and out of copyright stuff.
Okay.
They did the first 21 issues of Famous Monsters of Filmland because Warren Publishing did not renew the copyright or didn't do it properly, so they're in public domain. There's a number of other ones. There's Modern Monster. They did have Castle of Frankenstein, but now I see it's not available, so I don't know. Hard to find when I was a kid.
When was
it published so sporadically?
That was I was going to say. Is when was it published though? Because I
Whenever
remember I bought
they felt
it.
like it. Apparently,
I bought it. I know, like in my 20s. So was it still?
That might have been a reboot.
Probably was.
Because the original run,
but
I think, went into
Glute
the 70s.
Don Glute.
Yeah,
he wrote the one I got.
He wrote a lot of the stuff early on too. The original.
What I'm thinking of is an issue in particular that talks about the Frankenstein series, and he gives an explanation for how it all flows together.
I think that's a reprint from earlier on.
Oh, that would make perfect sense.
And it's also in his...
it is, you're right. It's like, I think it might be chapter 1.
Frankenstein Chronicles.
Yes, you're right. That's right. Yeah. We talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about it.
But not for a few years. Basically, we're just going to keep doing the podcast over a few years.
Regurgitate all these.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. So anyway, I found they do...
Not like anybody's listening.
They did Harvey Kurtzman's Help, which was also published by Warren.
Dang.
I had never found it before. So that helped me through the COVID as well. So then I also found like some of the Mad knockoffs that came out in the 50s that they're reprinting. So those are fun.
Okay.
And there's a reason Mad rose to the top.
So the question was, do you read comic books?
Yes.
And the answer is not superhero ones.
Not since probably the early 90s.
Okay.
Why?
I don't know. I can't remember. It was a long time ago when I asked that.
10 minutes ago, so...
I periodically will dip back in, and I've been thinking I want to start reading a couple of Marvels.
My problem is that there's so many of them now, and there's so...
Well, that's true. I wouldn't read anything current.
It's so complicated.
Right now in my house, I'm downloading all of the 1960s comic books from Marvel.
That's the thing to do.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's the thing to do. I actually found a website that, probably the same one.
Maybe.
It has pretty much everything.
Oh, I don't. You'll have to send. I don't have that.
Okay.
Probably too late. I already got them all.
I found like a lot of these Mad knockoffs on there. And nobody cares, so...
well, I was going to ask, do you consider Cracked a viable Mad imitation? Or is Cracked...
Yeah.
By the time Cracked came around, was it an imitation of what Mad Magazine had become by that
Yeah,
point?
it was an imitation of Mad Magazine, not the Mad comic book.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. People have...
everybody's tuned out.
Tuned out? I don't know. Maybe they're people love this shit.
Yeah.
Is it your contention that Krog is still there? It's still the same day?
Still the same day. I think so.
Okay. He laughs. He's
very jovial.
He thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And he invited himself to dinner.
Myself. Oh, was that a good one?
And then
you suckers fell right into my trap.
He smacks Hutchinson in the head.
Dumb
dummy.
fucker. Yeah, dummy.
That'll show you. And meanwhile, Wolf is so distracted he has no idea.
I think Krog, yes, he's there. He invited himself to keep an eye on what the hell's going on here.
Sure.
That's
yeah.
Yeah, I do think he's a little sweet on Elsa.
You do.
I think so.
I mean, she deserves better.
Oh, there's no question about that. Benson would be better.
This is good. This is going to be good. I think this week and then maybe next week we'll have more nice things to say about Josephine Hutchinson and her character. Again, not exactly a feminist icon, but she's in the story.
But she is. She's. I think Mae Clark. That's probably the last really. Although no, Hobson
has moments.
Shows some balls too. So.
Unfortunately, one of them is in Werewolf of London.
Yeah, right.
But other than that, yeah. So I wanted to mention Fritz. He's in his humiliating shorts.
He's wearing the lederhosen.
And maybe that's why he doesn't want... I don't want to work there anymore. They make me wear... Madam makes me wear humiliating shorts. Like when I first look at him, I'm like, what the fuck is he wearing? I thought he was wearing knee pads because the knees are so bright in black and white. But you're right, it's the... They're
lederhosen and he's got knee socks on.
So his socks come up
to his fucking
right at the bottom of the knee, and his shorts come to the top of the knee.
Yeah, so there's like 4 to 6 inches of skin exposed.
Yeah.
Why not just wear pants?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're gonna show that,
it's humiliating.
Yeah, it is.
It's all humiliating.
But it's also a traditional outfit for that region. They wear it during the Schuhplattler.
Yeah, that's right. That's where we are. We're in Schuhplattlerville.
Yep.
Schuhplattlerland.
Yep.
There's also, what it makes me think of is, so he's serving dinner, and that's a plot point that we're going to talk about. But then next to him is the beds are head to head lady.
Yeah.
So it's I
still can't find a name for her.
Yep.
The actress. I've tried.
Or the character, or
the character is just a maid.
A maid.
But I've tried to find the actress, and I haven't been able to. So same thing for Schmidt.
Like the credits would say maid.
Question
and then
mark.
Played by actress. Oh, I like
actress.
Question mark. Question mark's better, actually.
Played by actress. I like that.
Did you see that?
And that could be in quotes.
Is it the Indie Award? Is that an award?
Yeah.
They're going to non-gender award.
That's cool.
And I've always kind of wondered about that. Like, what the hell is that? Why?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But here's my problem with it. It's too woke. No, I'm kidding. My problem with it is it's just less awards. So now you've got the same amount of people fighting for less.
One award.
Yeah.
Than two.
So what if?
4 if you count the supporting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they should keep that.
I don't know. You know what?
It doesn't make sense to have it as a separate award. So I'm not. My argument is not logical. It doesn't hold up under anything other than it's less awards. Is my problem.
I personally don't give a shit about any
awards.
Of the
awards. Well, that's a good point. I don't really care.
Don't care. You made a deal about Lawrence Grant hosting the Oscars.
Who did?
You did.
Who's Lawrence Grant?
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
And you're like, I thought you were going to mention, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Who hosts the Oscars?
Yeah.
I just don't care about it. Other than, we get Slappy Smith out of it.
Did you hear supposedly they asked Chris Rock to host the Oscars?
Again?
Yeah, after that.
Oh, yeah.
And he said no, and he said no because he said that would be like Nicole Brown Simpson going back to the restaurant to get her cigarettes. Which,
nice.
Nicole Brown Simpson's sister responded to that by saying it was in bad taste, but also doesn't make any logical sense. And I'm like, she's right.
She's
that
right,
joke
but it
doesn't make any logical sense.
But it's still funny.
Shut up.
It's still funny.
Yeah. A lot of jokes don't make perfect sense.
No.
Like I was listening to the Beatles. Never mind.
No. Well, I think it's pointed out what I always thought is that Will Smith is just an asshole.
You've always thought Will Smith is an asshole.
I never liked him. I always thought he
seemed like the most likable guy in the
that's
world.
Exactly. I think this has got to be phony.
Okay.
Tom Hanks, yeah, I'm sure he is the nicest guy ever. I like Tom Hanks a lot.
Why? Oh, I see. What's the difference between Tom Hanks and Will Smith?
I thought Bill Cosby was a really nice guy too. See how wrong I was there.
Oh, I'm starting to see a pattern.
Yep.
Starting to see a pattern here.
It's a great pleasure to have you. You're our first guest.
Hold on a second now. Did we get everything? Yeah, that's right.
We're done with the minute?
No. No, actually, that's the next thing I have. You are our first guest.
Well, he never thought he'd have the privilege of being entertained at Castle Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And I think he's just BSing to be ingratiating.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think he is making a point. Actually, I'm not sure what the point
What is his point then? Because I think all he's doing is just greasing the wheel so he doesn't arouse suspicion of why he's there.
How many arms do you have?
I have 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe you can't quite identify with what Krog's life story is. Okay. But when you say Frankenstein to this guy...
I'm not disabled, is that what you're saying?
Oh, I'm sure. I don't mean to diminish your disabled status.
Thank you.
If you need a list, I could come up with some things.
Okay.
Let's just say needs improvement.
I'd be curious to see what that is. So.
No, I'm saying it doesn't matter that he's disabled. It's just that there may be some trauma associated with the concept of the castle Frankenstein.
Maybe, and I also think there's a class thing at work there, too.
That, too. I agree with that.
Because he says, I never thought he entertained the castle Frankenstein.
Yes, you can take it, right.
He refers it to Baron, not to her.
Right. You could absolutely just take it that way, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I do believe it means the other as well. And just a general overall, this place is fucked up. Everybody hates you.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the way I take it anyway.
That's fine. Yeah, that's good.
But wait though, I don't mean for that to say that I don't also agree with what you said, which is that he's trying to
grease the wheels and
yes, absolutely, that's true.
Not arouse any suspicion as to why he's there.
Am I reading too much into these movies?
Sometimes maybe you are. I don't know.
Was that one of them?
No, I think that's all valid.
Okay.
There's a thing in literature, and I can't remember what it's called, but just because the author didn't intend it or put it there doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah, right.
You can find anything you want in anything, really.
Yes.
No, it's a great pleasure to have you here. You see, you're our first guest. Oh.
I like it.
I think I made an audible groan when we were watching it.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. I guess I took it to be, I suppose. Like
I know he's supposed to be...
Like a comment on his character's...
He's supposed to be distracted.
Yeah, he's distracted.
But, oh my God.
Now that you mention it though, why is he distracted? What's going on? Like, I get generally what's going on, but why in particular right now is he more distracted
than normal?
I mean, he
than he was, say, 60 minutes ago.
He went for that walk. I guess he's gone and he's...
I don't think he went for a walk. I think that was a lie.
Yeah, that's true. So was he...
Because we know he was in the lab.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he was looking through that little door in the big door while Krog and Elsa were getting it on. I mean, I'm assuming that they were... I'm not saying they were doing
that
it...
arm. Oh, yeah.
Elsa likes the arm. What can you do? Hey,
I don't judge.
She knows what she likes. Nobody's judging here. I'm only saying.
I don't
it's
judge.
Just put it on the list of reasons why Wolf can't satisfy her.
He does not have a prosthetic arm. Jesus. Number one, he's gay as a lark. Number two, he's got both arms.
Number one is pretty compelling.
Yeah. He's got both arms.
Yep.
Where do we be? All right. You said that, didn't you?
Yeah, I like.
You are.
I like where he says it. Well, he says it. Then they cut to Atwell, who does a bit of a double take thing. He looks from him to her and back to him. Yeah. It's kind of a nice little moment for him. It takes about an eighth of a second, and then Oh. You said that already, didn't you, dear? Yeah.
Well, you are.
Yeah. I love that answer. Well, you are. Well, what the fuck does that mean?
What does that mean? Yeah.
Well, if someone says something like that in an argument. Like,
you're true. You're a poopy pants.
Yeah, well, no. Unless you are a poopy pants, then it works.
Then it works.
I mean, since I am a poopy pants, I take it personally.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend.
I just the whole notion of, it's true.
It's a sensitive topic.
Yeah.
The poopy pants thing.
Yeah, well, I'm old enough now that I've grown into it.
Wear it as a badge of honor, in fact.
That's right. Yep. Okay, where is Benson?
She actually is the only person to express concern. Wolf, I don't think he's noticed Benson's missing.
You're jumping ahead. I'll have more to say about that in this episode.
Okay, go for it.
All right, but not right now. I'm going to wait until later. Well, okay. I can do it now.
Well, I mean, there isn't that much left, so.
That's why it works. Okay, so first of all, he went up to the nursery for the baby's supper tray.
So why isn't he serving dinner? Fritz it's one of my favorite favorite lines in the whole film.
Is that true?
We don't know. He went up to the nursery for the baby's supper, and we haven't seen him since.
Supper tray.
Supper tray.
Yeah. Why is that one of your...
Because it's... What the hell did Peter do to him?
Well...
First of all, he's 4 years old. He's not a baby.
He's not a baby. That was my first thing,
Why
too.
the fuck do you call him a baby?
It's a minute-by-minute podcast, and the way I approach it, and I think you approach it, we can be a bit of a nitpicking group.
Yeah.
But this one's always struck me.
Well, this also
the baby's
weird. Baby?
Supper tray? What the fuck are you talking about?
I've even noticed it in things like the Blondie movies, where he's like 4 or 5 years old, and he's still baby dumpling or whatever he was.
I forgot about that.
And
wow.
Like, he's not a fucking baby anymore.
What was it? It wasn't baby dumpling, but
yeah,
it
was.
like that.
Yeah, it was.
Baby dumpling.
I just saw some a while back. They're on every Saturday on one of the free channels.
Yeah, they're on every once in a while.
Yeah.
I swear I mentioned it on the podcast a couple of months ago. We saw one, and we were laughing out loud. The Dagwood and Blondie were funny.
They're funny.
Us. I mean, I'm an elderly person, so...
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect the kids to watch it. But
the kids aren't listening to
this either.
But like, there was that scene where Dagwood has to pick up Blondie in front of the school, and as he's on his way, this beautiful other woman jumps out in front of his car and says, "Can you give me a ride to whatever?" And he's like, "Well, I'm going there. I got to pick up Blondie anyway." And she's like, so when they get there, she says, "Well, can you pull up a little bit further? I need to go over there." So he's driving. He's going to pick up Blondie.
He drives past
and
her.
she sees him come by with a beautiful woman in the car. I mean, it was actually a really good setup, and it was really,
Yeah, I know they're
clever. Or at least that one was.
They're enjoyable.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say a little bit of Arthur Lake goes a very, very long way, but other than that,
that's probably true.
You know, I couldn't watch 2 in a row.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
But
he's very likable.
Oh yeah.
So we agree he's not a baby. But yes, you're right. At that time, there was a different thing.
I guess it was.
And you wonder about how much of it is generally in movies when, like, say, a newborn, they'll pull a newborn out of a lady.
Yeah.
And then hold up the newborn.
Wait, is that
and you
how
look,
that,
and the newborn
like
is like 6 months old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some of that, I think, maybe. I don't know. But then there was, it was a weird time.
No, I also think it's funny that, we went up there. We haven't seen him since. What, Peter eat him? Did he kill him? Is he up still playing with him or what?
Yeah.
It's such a funny line. It's just so weird.
It seems perfectly reasonable to me.
Oh, it is a reasonable thing to say, absolutely. But I just think it's funny inadvertently.
It's the delivery.
Yeah.
As we know, Perry Ivans is famous for his delivery.
Sharp as a tack, spot on delivery.
He every day showed up on set, cracking everybody up.
Oh, man. They were...
You got Ivansed was the thing, because he was such a joker.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm even saying anymore.
There's a character actor called Vince Barnett in the 30s and 40s. He's in Horse Feathers.
Okay.
Who would do that?
Crack up the set?
Yeah, I mean, he was hired to do, like, practical jokes and shit.
Okay.
And after a while, people wanted to fucking kill him as a result.
I think today, must have been yesterday, could have been today, read an interview with the kid who was Freddy Krueger's son in whatever fucking movie that was. Creepy looking weird kid. He was also in Jurassic Park, the very beginning, where Sam Neill is talking about how the dinosaurs are like birds or whatever, and this kid comes and talks to him. He's got kind of a weird face or whatever. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Do you remember the kid?
About,
he's just kind of weird looking.
And
he's still kind of weird looking, but it works better as an adult, because then he's like a weird looking... Anyway, he did an interview, and that's still kind of his main claim to fame is Jurassic Park. He said he'll talk to people and they'll be like, "God, you seem familiar," and they'll tell him, "Oh yeah, it was Jurassic Park." But anyways, he said he was on set for 2 days, and he said the 48 hours he spent with Steven Spielberg was this amazing thing. He's raving about Steven Spielberg. A lot of people do. He's probably a great guy. But that his stepdad brought him to the set, and his stepdad, who he hated, would keep trying to talk to Steven Spielberg.
Oh, yeah.
And I just love that notion. That this Steven Spielberg's trying to make Jurassic Park,
and some idiot
and some asshole just won't fucking stop talking.
John away.
I swear there was a point to that story. My contention, as we wrap up this minute, with 1 second to go in the minute, is that Wolf seems very concerned about Benson. He's now heard.
Well, he's heard that Benson.
He now knows that Benson is missing. It's a big deal, and as we've talked about repeatedly, and we foreshadowed for many times.
should anything happen to Benson, Wolf would
if
be
anything were to
devastated.
happen, Wolf would be devastated, and we see it
We
here.
see a little bit of it here, yeah.
And then mercifully the minute ends, because I don't think it lasts.
No, it lasts this fleeting moment.
It's like one second where he's like, oh shit.
Dear. And then it's like, well, shit, now how do I cover this up?
Well, spoilers for next week. All right, so
the
sound of
that
theme
music,
song is
the music
arrived,
of the tearing envelope can only mean one thing.
It only means something. I should put
Any more questions, wise ass?
Am I Frankenstein minute on this one?
I don't know. Are you?
It's okay. There we go. All
I'm
right.
ready. I've got my mortarboard hat on like a professor, so I can answer the question.
This will be good. This is a response to one of our previous episodes.
Okay.
These all are.
Okay.
And I'm not clever enough.
A specific episode?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because the other one was general.
No,
Last
it
week's-
was also a response to a specific episode. Here's the problem. I'm not clever enough right now to figure out which one. I tried the first time, and I'm just not going to try again.
Okay.
Because I know I'm just going to sit and look at my app spin.
Okay.
Will Hohenstein. Hohenstein?
I'm related to some Hohensteins.
Hohenstein?
Yeah.
Is this someone you know?
I don't know.
Will? He follows.
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't think so.
He follows us on Twitter and Facebook. And
Does he live here?
He's a Patreon. He
lives
I don't know
here?
where he
Oh,
lives.
okay.
Actually, I guess I could probably find out because we send, like, if you're a Patreon, I think you can see the person's address if you want to send them something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's creepy to
It
even
is a
say.
little-
It's probably not
a
true.
little weird. Yeah.
Let's hope that's not true.
I'm cutting all this out.
There is no got any more questions wise
It's
ass
all
this
gone.
week.
No. Okay. What's the
Here's
question?
here's the
comment?
question. Vogel is the burgomaster's last name, just FYI.
Okay.
Which burgomaster? Now? Who? The guy who went to the train station?
Lawrence Grant, the guy who hosted the Academy Awards.
Favorite
wait.
Academy Awards host? That's not Vogel.
No, it's Lionel Belmore in Frankenstein. Herr Vogel.
Oh, the original burgomaster was Vogel. Who's burgomaster now?
Lawrence Grant.
Does he have a last name?
Well, yeah, he says it, but we couldn't discern it. He's at the train station. I'm something, and he says it.
He says it really fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know in Bride of Frankenstein he doesn't have a name. Or C.C. Clive.
C.C. Clive, yeah. Okay. Since I didn't do any research and I don't know what this is in direct response to, I'm going to give the credit and award the... Just kidding.
Do we have an award?
Well, I don't know. This is the correct answer.
So, yeah, Richard Walter Joyce and Brent Turner just shared Frankenstein Minutes post 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, they keep sharing this. Yeah, they're not real people, are they?
I don't know.
1, 2, so we did 2, 3.
Are we done here?
I think
with
so.
this one?
I think so. We might have a bonus one coming up.
Here's another Wallace episode.
Well, we didn't even talk about anything. What is it? Is it just
Extraneous.
burping and farting and making jokes and teenage? Trying to put teenagers to sleep.
Well,
Hey, follow us on Instagram where you can also do comments. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon,
YouTube.
Email. YouTube is a good one. Please subscribe on YouTube.
Ring the bell.
Yep, make sure to ring the bell.
Oh, wait a minute.
No,
Wait,
that's not,
no, that's not
no,
it?
No,
Okay.
that's not that one. We don't do that anymore.
All right. It's pretty much petered out.
Petered.
Whatever. Yeah.
It has petered.